Hi, this is Caleb Wells, the judging coordinator for FilmFestivalCircuit.com and the Oregon Screams Horror Film Festival. I'm here today with one of our judges, Miriam Tallis, to discuss the finalists for the Best Director Award at the Oregon Screams Film Festival Winter 2022, which is taking place on March 12th at the Sunshine Mill Drive-In Theater in The Dalles. To start things off, Miriam, could you tell our listeners a little bit about yourself? How did you get into the film industry?
Yeah, hi Caleb. Man, it's been a trek, but I started in film at Portland State University, where I was a film major, and I minored in costume design. And from there, I kind of hustled my way a little bit through the costuming world. I worked at some of the local theaters, and then from there, I started working on some TV shows that were shooting in Portland. On those shows, I was working mainly as a production assistant, as a costume assistant, and also as a set design assistant. Shows for TBS, Netflix, etc. The big money streamers. And currently, I'm over at Leica, and I work in the art department over there. And I cannot speak any further of anything we're making over there because of those gosh darn NDAs.
All right, well, it's all very exciting stuff. um, well, also, I guess to tell the audience a little bit about me, you and I actually have very similar beginnings. We were actually both film majors at Portland State University around the same time.
Mm-hmm.
We took a few classes together. And then after I graduated, I interned at the Portland International Film Festival as one of their judging screeners, which I believe you also did at the same time as me. I
Yeah,
can't
I think I
remember.
was I think I was maybe a year after you. But yes, I forgot I guess I forgot to throw that big tidbit in there. Yes, I used to screen over at the Northwest Film Center, which was an awesome experience.
Yeah, I really loved working for them. And then after I interned there, they hired both of us to work the box office there. And then COVID hit, and now I work for FilmFestivalCircuit.com, and I love it. But yeah, that's enough about me. Let's get to talking about these finalists. Our first finalist is Demon Juice, directed by Shannon Brown from the United States. In this film, a group of friends travel to a quaint vacation town for a weekend getaway, but discover a decades-old party drink that's more dangerous than it seems. Now, I know the judges really loved this film, and I personally thought it was pretty hilarious all throughout. What are some of your thoughts about this one, Miriam?
Yeah, I really walked in having no idea what to expect. And I think that kind of speaks for all of them, but in a really good way. And I think that's what's so fun about Scream Week and locally made horror films in general as well. This one had a lot of really, really funny and humorous notes. I felt all of the characters played extremely well for each other. And the editing was super clean. I felt like there was absolutely no bumps in the road aside from the story itself, which there's obviously supposed to be a lot of bumps in this road. Yeah, everything felt super organic and extremely fleshed out, pun intended. And I really also want to give a shout out to the stellar 80s fight scene. I've never seen anything like that, and I'm really glad I did.
Yeah, I also thought this was like a really great film. I completely agree with you. I thought it was super well constructed on all accounts. The entire cast had amazing chemistry with one another, and the edit really was paced perfectly and keeps up a great flow the entire time. On top of that, I thought that the script felt really fresh and it was really, really funny. I was laughing out loud so much throughout the whole thing. And the sound design and the score were really well executed and helped tie the film together even more, I thought. I think Shannon did a really great job on Demon Juice.
Yeah, I second that wholeheartedly.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on to the next one. So our next finalist is Something, directed by Dan Riesser from California. This film follows Kate, who arrives home to find a bloody body in her kitchen and her husband Mark in the middle of a manic episode, convinced that the dead man on the ground is something other than human. Our judges really thought that this film was well executed and featured two fantastic lead performances, and I couldn't agree more. What did you think, Miriam?
Yeah, I also second that notion. I really love being thrown into a situation, and you don't really have a moral compass in what's happening right now because you don't have any information, and those are always such a fun way to be introduced to a narrative in the first place. I also do think the performances completely sold these people to me, even though you just have really 9 minutes with these characters. you have vignettes into their lives. And I thought that was a really creative way to execute a horror film where it's almost more like a drama with horror elements. And I'm always here for any genre mixing that's out there. So yeah, no, I thought this was fantastic.
I did too. Like, actually, like, these are probably some of my favorite performances that I've seen in any of the films that I've seen so far for this festival. Like, I really believed everything that they were going through. I was actually genuinely frightened a lot of the time. And I thought the concept itself was really fresh and was pulled off really, really well. The film was so tense from start to finish. Like I said, the lead actors really sold every moment of it. I also thought that the lighting and shot compositions were pretty brilliant and helped show the characters' mental states quite well. And yeah, that final moment when everything just comes together, bone chilling. I thought that was super successful, and I can't wait to see how the audience reacts to this one because I think they're going to have a great time with it. So, moving on is The Mouzard, directed by Marie Lessel from California. This film was shot virtually during COVID, and it tells the story of Jerry, a horse figurine aficionado and live streamer who is put under a powerful spell by a mouse wizard figurine, which he has mistakenly received in the mail. When the mouse wizard promises to make Jerry less of a loser, Jerry begins an absurd transformation from man to mouse. The judges thought that this film was bizarre in all of the best ways and featured a remarkable performance from its lead actor, CJ Cruz. Personally, this one had me in stitches, and its humor is right up my alley, and I think the audiences are really going to dig this one. And what were your thoughts, Miriam?
Yeah, I think starting this one, editing right off the bat was super unique and creative. I could tell somebody's trying to make their mark on this. And it's different when sometimes you feel like you're kind of being force fed content. And this wasn't the case at all. The tone was completely steady throughout the whole thing. And big kudos to that because a lot of people can sway, especially when they're genre bending. So we have, humor is definitely a big aspect of this short, and horror as well. And I felt like they just continuously were in like perfect flux with each other. So yeah, I got to give a round of applause to that. It was definitely, I'd say, one of a kind for sure.
Yeah, one of a kind definitely sums this one up. I thought it was super creative. It definitely did like genre bend a little bit. I thought it was so, so funny. Personally, I really like the word turd and dookie. And this one uses that word quite a lot. So, or those words quite a lot. So it sold me from the beginning. But I like kind of like dumb humor like that and think it's really funny. Um,
You're not alone.
yeah. But on top of that, like I do think that the concept for the film was really creative. I don't think there would be another film ever made quite like this one. The visuals were really unique, and the film all around was crafted together perfectly, I thought. I also felt like its pacing never got old or bland. It always kept me interested. So I really enjoyed this one. I thought that it was a lot of fun, and I think our audiences are going to think so too. I imagine we're going to be hearing a lot of laughter from a lot of cars at Sunshine Mill from this one. So, looking forward to screening this one. Another finalist is Sticks and Stones, directed by Kristen and Hansen from the United States. When a lonely woman in isolation becomes obsessed with a Shakespearean role, only her cat can guide her through the transformation. Now, Miriam, I gotta know your thoughts on this one.
Yeah, I felt it was, I think, the most thing bizarre that I could relate in moments. And I didn't know if that worried me or comforted me. But I'll say off the bat, technically, it was seamless transitions from one another and a really interesting editing execution, just as far as how you were taken throughout the day. And your timeline's really skewed in this space, and I'm sure it's intended to be. I don't know, I'm throwing that out there. But I love how you're just as delusional through the editing and the music as much as you are in the character space and presumably their headspace as well. And I thought it did a really good reflection of isolation and neediness. And I think there's a slice that everybody can relate to in there in some capacity of needing some form of validation. You're not just like your pure art form all the time and being super confident and reliable in that. There's actually a lot of people pleasing along the way.
Yeah, wow, you had such great thoughts on that. Holy crap.
Yeah. It struck a chord, I guess.
It really does strike a chord because I thought this one was like a perfect pandemic film. It really did effectively capture the loneliness and isolation that many of us felt during the initial quarantine during the start of the pandemic. And these feelings are further elevated thanks to the incredibly creepy sound design and the shot compositions and uneasy camera work. And I think that Kristen Hansen, who also stars in the film, gives an absolutely bone-chilling and completely impactful performance. Everything about this film was just so unnerving. And overall, the story itself is just incredibly creative and it's not straightforward. And I think that that helps it even be more successful in being an impactful film for viewers. This one is going to be really fun to get audience reactions from, I think, because it's probably going to be pretty polarizing, but I think everyone's going to love it.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
So, our last finalist in the Best Director category is Escalation, directed by Christian Bachini from Italy. In the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic, Chris, a paranoid and self-centered man, is happily avoiding all human contact, preferring to escape from reality in whatever's on TV. When a friend reaches out to him to confront him about his past promises, Chris has to decide what kind of person he is inside, or it may just eat him alive. Now, I thought this one was pretty darn cool and featured some gnarly practical effects that are sure to make even the most desensitized horror lover squeamish. The set and lighting design were also remarkable, and paired with the crisp cinematography, it really made this movie a joy to look at as well. Every creative decision in this film was spot on. How did you feel about it, Miriam?
Yeah, I 100% concur. I felt like it was an extremely fun intro. I think I knew from the get go I was in for something, and I indeed received that. I'm also definitely a sucker for a meta movie. So anytime there's any reference to a film within a film, I'm here for that and how that's going to be obscured. And this definitely did justice to that. So I love how there's the play on the spooky horror film, and yet you're living inside that in reality as well. And of course, another film about isolation, but one that's just as refreshing and just as different and just as unique as well. I think, isolation stories can feel redundant with the climate that we're in, but I think no matter what, every single one that I've seen so far is a pretty big standalone piece as far as what that experience looks like. And this is a very vibrant one at that. So
Yeah, this one definitely is super colorful. The story is a lot to take in, but like you said, it's super meta and like really clever and feels quite fresh. I don't think I've seen anything quite like it. And I'm excited to see how the audience is going to react to this one because I think that it's going to cause quite a commotion in the best way possible. This one has got some stuff that's going to put some jaws on the floor, I think. But yeah, it also visually and story-wise, it's just a ton of fun from start to finish. And the lead actor who also directed the film, Chris Bachini, he does such a remarkable job, like not even with like just acting, but also with like his body movements all throughout the film. Like he's like actually eating himself. Like it's so cool. It's like he's possessed by this spooky meta demon thing. So I think it's great.
we've all got one of those in our
We
lives. So
we really do. Uh, so yeah, that wraps it up for the finalists of the Best Director Award. Thank you so much for joining me and discussing these films today, Miriam.
absolutely, I'm happy to virtually be here.
All right, and we're happy to virtually have you. Uh, all right, well, I'm so excited to see how the audience reacts to each of these films and more at the Oregon Screams Horror Film Festival on March 12th at the Sunshine Mill Drive-In Theater in the Dalles. For more information about the films, schedule, and tickets, please click on the link in the description. Thanks for watching and see you soon.
Are you submitting your creative work to film festivals? Hi, this is Michael Fair, and I've been a film festival director for more than a decade. I've reviewed thousands of submissions. Would you like me to show you how to present your work in a way that every film festival director loves to see? You wouldn't believe how many submissions have incomplete information that negatively affects your chances of getting selected. Avoid common costly mistakes that other filmmakers are making every day. Before you spend another dollar on submission fees, you need to download the Film Festival Submitter's Handbook right now.